Hi guys, how you doing? This is a very impromptu video. I wasn't planning on recording one now and uploading it now because I've actually got a video scheduled to come out this afternoon. So today's going to be a 2-video day. The one this afternoon is another fight breakdown. You'll like it, it's a good one. But this is a video which is basically in reply to an ongoing debate within the HEMA community at the moment online. A little while ago, there was a video online posted by Shadiversity entitled "The Trouble with HEMA." And a few people have given their thoughts about this video. But there are a couple of things that I'd like to add to what's already been said. There are two main points here. One of the things that Shad discusses is this idea that we can add our own techniques to HEMA, and that he intuitively came up with some things that he's used in HEMA practice that have served him incredibly well, and that therefore we should kind of consider our natural abilities and our natural responses and our natural intuition to be something that we can use to benefit our martial arts practice. My overwhelming response when I heard this as a proposal is that can only come from somebody who hasn't actually really studied any martial arts to any real degree. And Shad's basically quite proud of this basis of ignorance in martial arts. Going out into the woods and wrapping a rope around a tree and punching it for weeks on end, that's not martial arts training. That might consist of something. It might help in some way. It might condition your knuckles or something. But that's not martial arts training. Martial arts training is the exact opposite of what's described. It's about trying to overcome those natural instincts, those intuitive responses, and replace them with moves that seem counterintuitive but are more effective. I'd go as far as to say that pretty much any detailed and developed martial art uses the fact that people have intuitive responses to moves, to techniques, against them. Especially when you look at things like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or catch-as-catch-can wrestling or something like that, what you're actually trying to do is create a situation where somebody's instinctive response is exactly what causes their downfall. And a lot of HEMA systems do this. They'll create a situation where you move in a specific way, and that opens you up in a different way. So the idea that using our intuition is going to benefit our HEMA practice, in my opinion at least, is complete bollocks. To put this into context, I've been training in HEMA for just over 20 years now. I know this pretty much down to the month because my first wife was pregnant with our daughter when I discovered my first HEMA manual and I started studying it. My daughter is now 20 years old and she's at university studying history. So I've got a really clear time frame for when I started studying HEMA. I'm still studying HEMA, yes I teach it, but I'm still studying it, and that's the really important thing because this is a journey. We don't get to a point where we go, yeah, cool, done HEMA, tick, finished that. There are so many sources and so much stuff out there to learn that I am constantly trying to better myself. And I do that within the HEMA community, and I do it also within the mixed martial arts community, within the grappling community, the whole lot. I'll go out and I'll train with the very best people I can train with because I know enough to know that that's how I'm going to get better. If I actually want to be a better fighter, I need to use the experience and the wisdom of those people that did this before me. The second thing that I want to talk about is this idea that Shad brings up from Jeet Kune Do, from Bruce Lee's sort of principles, that we look at systems and we take what's useful to us and we leave the rest behind. And again, that's a fantastic idea, but the kind of idea that we can do this from a position of ignorance, from never actually really having studied a martial art, we can then go along and go, oh, those are the useful bits, I'll have them, and this is what I do naturally, so that's me, and that's my system. Again, that's bollocks. You can't know which are the useful bits in a system until you've actually spent some time studying it. Bruce Lee didn't just look at somebody fencing and go, oh, those are the principles of fencing, I'll take those. He actually studied. He didn't look at boxing punches and say, oh, okay, yeah, those are the things I'll have. He studied this. Before that, he'd studied martial arts for years and years and years. He was a skilled practitioner who understood the principles of his art, and he used that as a basis for being able to understand more things and bring more things from other systems in. But it's about working from a position of knowledge, not working from a position of ignorance. And that's what really gets me about that video, is this sense of pride in the fact that Shad, at his most high level, achieved a yellow belt in Taekwondo, and that somehow gives him the authority to be able to describe the entirety of European martial arts and pick out the bits that are useful. It doesn't. It absolutely does not. You need to study these things, you need to train with as many people as you can, and you need to accept the fact that you are always learning. And along the way, you will pick up things that are useful to you. I've gone away and I've trained with some of the greatest wrestlers in the world. Literally, the greatest wrestlers in the world. People like Wade Shelley, people like Billy Robinson, people like Josh Barnett. These guys have shown me all sorts of things, and some of it I simply cannot do. I'm not built for it, I'm not the right, my arms aren't long enough, or I'm not short and stocky enough. Some techniques just do not work for me. And those are the ones that I leave aside. I've taken what's useful to me. But I've only been able to do that by training with these people and learning these things and drilling them again and again and again, and being able to see which ones work for me in practice. And that's the same with swordsmanship. Is that I'm training in this again and again and again, and I'm fighting against people, I'm drilling against people, I'm entering tournaments, and I'm seeing which bits work for me, and I'm leaving the bits behind that don't. But you can't do that from a position of ignorance. So, to round this video off, what I'd like to do is read you something from George Silver's Brief Instructions upon My Paradoxes of Defense, a HEMA source that's probably one of the most studied. It's also one of the most controversial, but we won't go into that. This isn't one of his technical bits. This is just something he says about the concept of studying overall. And I think it's really, really valid in this particular point. He says, "And consider that learning has no greater enemy than ignorance. Neither can the unskillful ever judge the truth of my art to them unknown. Beware of rash judgment, and accept my labours thankfully as I bestow them willingly. Censure me justly, let no man despise my work herein casually, and so I refer myself to the censure of such who are skilful herein." His language is a little archaic, but you get the idea. If you understand this, and you are skillful in this, and you've trained this, and you have knowledge of this, then you can judge it. If you haven't, you can't. So, when somebody says the problem with HEMA is we need to add modern techniques into it, all that says to me is that they don't understand HEMA and they don't understand martial arts training, full stop. So, that's, you know, it's a ridiculous video. It's a ridiculous idea, and I'm probably going to stop now because otherwise I'm going to start getting sweary. So, check out the video that's coming out this afternoon as well, and I'll see you soon. Take care, guys.